The Mary Celeste is one of the most famous ghost ship mysteries in history. On November 7, 1872, the Mary Celeste left New York City. It was headed for Genoa, Italy, carrying 1,701 barrels of industrial alcohol. The ship was led by Captain Benjamin Briggs, an experienced and respected sailor. He brought his wife, Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia. Along with them were 7 crew members, all skilled sailors. Before leaving, Captain Briggs wrote a letter to his mother, saying everything was fine and the weather looked good for sailing. For the first few weeks, the Mary Celeste was sailing smoothly. The last entry in the ship's logbook was written on November 25, 1872, when the ship was near the Azores Islands. After that, silence. Nobody heard from the ship again until it was discovered floating empty more than a week later. On December 5, 1872, the Mary Celeste was spotted by the British ship Dei Gratia, which was also sailing through the Atlantic Ocean. The 2 ships were not far from the Azores Islands, in an area about 400 miles off the coast of Portugal. Captain David Morehouse of the Dei Gratia noticed that the Mary Celeste was drifting aimlessly without any crew members visible. Since it was common for ships to help each other out in case of trouble, Captain Morehouse decided to investigate. When the Dei Gratia approached the Mary Celeste, the crew saw that the ship was perfectly intact. It was not damaged, and it wasn't sinking. But as they got closer, they realized there were no signs of life on board. No one was there. The ship's sails were set, but the ship was just floating, not moving fast. Captain Morehouse and his crew decided to board the Mary Celeste to investigate what had happened. When a few sailors from Dei Gratia rowed over and climbed aboard, they were met with an eerie silence. Here's what they found. No people on board. The captain, his wife, child, and crew were gone. The lifeboat was missing, meaning they had abandoned the ship. The ship was not damaged, it wasn't sinking, and everything was in place. The cargo was mostly untouched, except for 9 barrels that were empty. The food and fresh water were still there, enough for months. The crew's personal belongings, including money and valuables, were untouched, suggesting it wasn't a pirate attack. The ship's logbook had its last entry on November 25, 1872, stating everything was fine. The most strange thing was that the ship seemed perfectly seaworthy. If the crew had left, why didn't they come back? The Dei Gratia crew decided to sail the Mary Celeste to Gibraltar to claim a reward for rescuing it. When they arrived, authorities launched an investigation, trying to figure out what had happened. However, no solid answers were found. At the inquiry, several theories were proposed, but none of them were proven. A sudden storm. One idea was that a sudden storm or rogue wave hit the ship, and the crew abandoned the ship in a panic. However, no storm had been reported in the area, and the ship didn't appear to be in immediate danger. Alcohol fumes. Another theory suggested that fumes from the alcohol barrels may have made the crew believe there was an explosion risk, prompting them to abandon the ship. However, there were no signs of an explosion or fire. Pirates. Some wondered if pirates might have attacked, but there was no evidence of theft or violence. Pirates typically steal valuables, but nothing had been taken. Mutiny. Some suggested that a mutiny had taken place, where the crew turned against the captain and left him and the rest of the crew behind. But there was no sign of violence or a struggle on the ship. Natural disasters. Some even speculated that the ship could have been struck by a giant wave or affected by a mysterious natural event, like an underwater earthquake, which caused the crew to flee. After the investigation, the Mary Celeste was returned to service, but it never had a peaceful life. In 1885, The ship was deliberately wrecked in an insurance scam, and it was ultimately lost. But the mystery of the Mary Celeste has never been solved. So, the Mary Celeste remains a ghost ship, a symbol of the unknown, and people still ask, where did the crew go? Why did they leave? The mystery still haunts sailors, historians, and anyone interested in the sea to this day. So, what do you think happened? Do you believe in a logical explanation, or do you like the spooky theories?